Mrs. Priya, Assistant Professor. It's my privilege to welcome you all the enthusiastic participants joining us today for the 4th International Conference on Health Economics and Outdoor Research pre-conference workshop that is systematic review and meta-analysis enhanced on providing organized by International Society for Outdoor Economics and Outdoor Research ISPA India Andhra Pradesh Regional Chapter in association with ISPA Network Student Chapter at Raghavendra Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Hyderabad, Academics, and the 39th of the conference, Dr. N. Manoj Kumar, HOD of Coffee Program, and co-convener of the program, Dr. KCP, program coordinators are Dr. U. Umadeshwara, Director of Commerce, Dr. K. Vinod Kumar, Administrative Officer. And this hands-on learning is not just a prelude to the upcoming event, but crucial skill-building opportunity for the researchers, academicians, clinicians, and students. This session is designed to offer the practical exposure right from preliminary research question using the PICO model, that is population, intervention, comparison, and outcome in literature search, strategies, screening process, data execution, quality assessment, and statistical review of the results. Meta-analytic techniques. We are privileged to have with us esteemed resource person, Dr. Richard Gilbert, Director, Lead Epidemiologist, the Analytics Channel. Today's guidance will help us to eliminate the process and instill the confidence in conducting your own review. This is highly interactive session, so we encourage you all to ask the questions and participate in the discussion, and most importantly, practice the tools and software hands-on as you learn. We believe this workshop will equip you to undertake a systematic reviews and meta-analysis that can lead to impactful applications, guided development, and better healthcare decisions. With this brief note, I would like to invite Dr. N. Manoj Kumar, HOD of the County and convener of this program, to come over the dais and to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, welcome to this Expo 2025 conference in Outcome Research. Thank you so much, and to all pharmacy students and pharmacy practice of Raipur College and other colleges of India. So, this is a 3-day conference. The day one will be a hands-on workshop, hands-on writing and systematic review and meta-analysis. So over this, I would like to say a few points to take this session very fast. So systematic review and meta-analysis plays a key role in our researcher life, for sure. Apart from the original research papers, SRMS also plays a key role to make a decision making, policy making to the central government or FDA, whatever it is, national, international government policy making on these SRMS will play a key role. So over this, I'm sure everyone will benefit from this today's session. So I sincerely request all the students, please don't sit idle and don't sit just like you have registered because here for certificate, because this is all happening with all the conferences. I sincerely request all the students, be interactive, speak up. If you don't know, not a problem. We are not issuing any marks here seriously. Okay, this is the time for you to interact. The more you interact, the more you engage. Okay, and another important thing, the Richard sir is very experienced candidate. Seriously, he will answer, he will clear all the queries, whatever you have. So here we have scholars, PhD students, and PhD students also. Sure, it will be a nice interactive session. Guys, I promised on behalf of you, we have to take forward this. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you.
Now I invite Dr. G. Nilima Madam, Assistant Professor, to introduce our today's speaker.
Good morning to all. It's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Richard Gilbert, who will be sharing the insights on systematic review and meta-analysis enhanced on training. Sir is a seasoned evidence synthesis specialist and epidemiologist with over 15 years of experience in biostatistics, Evidence-Based Medicine and Systematic Review. Sir is currently affiliated with the Center for Biostatistics and Evidence-Based Medicine, Vellore, and also works as a part-time consultant epidemiologist with Quick Analytics. Sir previously served as a research scientist in biostatistics at Cochrane, South Asia, and Christian Medical College, Vellore. During his tenure, Sir provided statistical expertise, lead systematic reviews, and trained healthcare professionals in evidence-based medicine. Sir has co-authored numerous Cochrane systematic reviews and is a peer referee for the Cochrane Wounds and Infectious Disease Review groups. Sir also served as an associate section editor for the Indian Journal of Gastroenterology. Sir holds a dual master's degrees in statistics and applied psychology. He is a well-versed in statistical software including SPSS, Stata, R, and SAS, and in systematic review tools such as Review Manager, Covariance, Metatis, and Cadima. He is a proficient in reference management and guidelines development platforms like GradePro and Magic App. Sir has contributed to multiple WHO Commission reviews and national guideline development projects, including India's COVID-19 anticoagulation guidelines and proton pump inhibitors stewardship recommendations. Sir has over 100 peer-reviewed publications spanning diverse areas such as infectious diseases, maternal and child health, mental health, and non-communicable diseases. Sir has an educated and taught epidemiology and biostatistics to medical, nursing, and allied health students, and has been a faculty member for Cochrane review workshops across India since 2010. Sir research and academic involvement are backed by expertise training, including short courses at Oxford University and the Institute and the Indian Statistical Institute. Sir continues to be a key contributor to public health policy and clinical guidelines and systematic evidence generation in India and beyond. I am honored to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Richard Prabhakaran sir onto the stage. I am requesting you to take over the session, sir.
I request Vinod sir, please come on to the dais to present the bouquet to our today's speaker. Thank you, sir. I request Vishal sir, please take over the session.
Can you reduce the volume bit low? It's too much. Let's say, go ahead. Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay. So this is a workshop. Okay. Remember, here we are today to learn something. I don't think that there is a lot of things that I've read about me. I'm a good big person, what they're going to talk, what I'm going to listen. Let's keep all of that aside. Okay, let's understand what we are trying to do today. Okay. So, systematic review meta-analysis. When somebody says, have you heard this term before? How many have you heard it? Raise your hands. Okay. Now there are around 50 people are here. Out of 50 people, 7 people have raised your hands. Correct? Okay. So which means that I should go even to the basics. Okay. How many of you read any research paper before? Again, okay. Good. At least you know who I'm talking to. Okay. Now let's look at what is research and where systematic review is going to help us. Okay. There's no presentation. I don't want to just go to a presentation and give you something and then read from there. Let's learn from what we all gone through. Okay. 2020. What is the most important thing happened? COVID. Everybody remember? Yes. Okay. How did we identify this COVID? How did you get to know COVID? News, social area? Okay, where it started? China. How do you know it started in China? Why it can't start in India? Little bit louder, I can't hear what you're saying. It's reported in China first. Okay, great. It's reported in China first. Okay, how do we know? Okay, so how did just the information exchange happen? Started in China. What happened? Who has identified this story? Do you know the story of who has identified this story? No. Suppose let's say I am a person who is infected with COVID. What I should have done? I have very severe fever, not able to walk. What I should do? Sleep at home? No. Then what I should have done? Consult the doctor. That is how the COVID started, right? Somebody has started COVID, they went for some clinic, right? What doctor has done? What doctor would have done? Diagnosis. Okay, what would have diagnosed initially? Some fever, probably some viral infection or something. Then you would have started with some medication, right? It did not respond. It responded? Yes? No? No. Why it did not respond? Why it did not respond then? You all are with me with the story? Yes or no? Yes. Somebody went to a doctor stating that I have a very severe fever, temperature is very high. Doctor has decided there is a viral fever. Let me start with basic medicine. What is basic medicine? Paracetamol. Let's start with paracetamol. What happened to him? It's not working. Nothing has changed. He's still having the same problem. Within 1 week, what has happened? Again, please, the person died. That is what happened during COVID, right? Within the 1 week time, it became very serious people have started dying. Okay? What this doctor who has found the first case, what he has done? What he would have done? Let's say he doesn't know the treatment, right? Like all of us, he started with paracetamol. It did not work. Then what he would have done? Let's assume you are a doctor, you are going to treat me now. You will paracetamol to me, don't kill me, okay? Only 1 week you have. You should save me. Alright? First day you have been paracetamol, nothing works. Second day, what will you do? Research. Later the doctor will research on me. Okay, smart answer. Let me take a look at. Is there any textbook say something about this particular disease? Correct? That's why we have textbook, right? We have such textbook, right? Why? If you don't know, we just refer to the textbook to see what it is. So you went and checked the textbook and you got some information from there. And it is written, don't try paracetamol, try antibiotic. Let's assume that there is some infection, let's try antibiotic. Okay, start antibiotic, second day. What has happened? 2 days gone. 7 days, 2 days over. How many days left? 5 days left. So second day no response. What will you do? Is it good? Probably I will go and talk to my experts or my seniors or my friends. Ask them, hey, I have seen something like this. I started giving this. Patient is not responding. What should I do? They also went and searched something. Now one person finding information, there are 10 people, your friends and your, maybe your teachers or the higher people are trying to find a solution. Right? The third day is gone. same antibiotic happen? What's going to happen? What will happen? What will you have treated during COVID? What is the treatment that they more or less start working? What is the medicine that was demanding during COVID? Can you think of? I don't know, all of this doesn't work. Steroid doesn't work. What ended up working? Antiviral. What is that? Remdesivir. How many of you have Remdesivir? Right, all of you should go Remdesivir, right? So other main offices you should go. Remdesivir was medicine that people are searching for. Correct? Somebody is hospital, people say, oh, Remdesivir may work. They find medicine available. There is a lot of demand for that particular product. Right? Now this one person who came to this clinic, right, was a doctor trying to treat me, figuring out a lot of combinations, right? Started with paracetamol, started with antibiotic, hydroxychloroquine, whatever the combination, whatever steroids that you know, put all of this and what you have done to me. What did you discover this? Something was right. How did you discover? By trialing the different drug to see whether it is responding to the patient. Okay? Now you identify that the Remdesivir is started working for me. You save me finally at the day 7. Okay? Now you went and told telling your friend, hey listen, there is something very new, very difficult, something is happening. By the 7th day, I don't have one patient. I have 100 patients in the clinic. That's how the spread is, right? COVID started one day and then suddenly the 7th day, there are hundreds of people have been hospitalized and hospitals, there is no bed available. That's the situation, right? Now you went and communicated this to your friend. This Remdesivir is a great drug, this is working for people. So people believe. You call your friend, say, hey, this is working for me, my patient. Will you believe it? Yes? Why should you believe it? Why he has to believe it? No? Because he is your friend, you say that he has to believe. Tell me now. What have you done? Okay, let's tell everybody, not only my friends. Let's go to YouTube, make a shorts. Or go to Insta, make a reels. And send to social media, let everybody follow. Can you do that? Of course, that is one way of sharing information, right? Can you trust it? Why? Somebody is paying. The guy who was selling the medicine Remdesivir gave me some lot of money and told me, please go and market this product. That's a possibility, right? Okay, then how can I believe? If something is working, something is good, then I should believe. Proper evidence, okay, that is right. Proper evidence should be there. Anything that you want to believe, there should be some proper evidence. Correct? How do we just create this proper evidence? Research. Okay, now you identify that whenever anything that you want to prove to somebody, it is not just going and telling somebody, okay, this is working, this is not working. I should prove it with some research. Okay, research is very broad, right? Every research has got a particular methodology to conduct. Okay? Therefore, when you try to generate evidence, you should document the information to a research idea or research setting. Okay? Now, remember the story that I am the first person who got COVID and we started treating something in right? But you are not able to figure out what is the viral infection. But was trying to manage to help me to survive. Correct? And you started this as a research. If you want to communicate this as a research to your audience, what shall you do? How shall you communicate it? Insta shots doesn't work there. Because it's not a research, right? Then what should I have done? Technically. What I should do? If I want to communicate that there is a problem which is going to come, I am seeing something new. What does that communication, research communication means then? Somebody help me now. I am on 7th day. Creating awareness is correct, but how do you communicate that as a research? Case report. Have you heard about case report? Yes? Yes? No? Okay. Case, what is case report? You are writing case report, right? During the conference, what is the case report? There is one person who wants allergic reaction to a particular drug. You document that properly, right? Why you document that? Why can't you just this person, no, I don't like it. It is not documented. Can you do that? Why are you doing that? You are trying to prevent the other person, right? If somebody comes to a similar sort of problem, there is a possibility that this person can have this allergic reaction. We have to mitigate the risk of getting that adverse event. Correct? How many have you got COVID shots? COVID vaccine? Okay. They just give an injection and make you to leave. What do they give along with it? What do you get? Paracetamol. Why they give paracetamol to you? Why? Why they give paracetamol to you? This vaccine is likely to cause fever. Therefore, don't come and stand in the hospital like this. Correct? Yeah, even then what will you do? You are told me to take this injection, I am having fever now. You should treat me back. So what they are trying to do? They have given the paracetamol along with you. If you have fever, take. Don't have also take. Prophylaxis, take it. Why are they doing that? That is not this medication. They are trying to give a there is a possibility of this can happen. You try to take some medication for treating that. Okay. Now you can see that case report is the primary study that you try to communicate to others. Okay. We will talk about hey, this person is this height, this weight, this age group, having this particular problem. Within 7 days, the severity is not worse. We have treated them with this medication. Did not respond. Finally, remedies were able to what happened? Save his life. So this is the case report. This is 7 days story. Right? On the 7th day, what has happened? What has happened on 7th day? Do we have only one patient in your clinic? No. How many patients are there? Hundreds of patients are there. Now what has happened? What I should do now next? What I should do next? Oh, I have written one article published. Let me leave this and then go back and sleep. Some people, doctors do that very poor. What they have done? There are hundreds and thousands of patients within 1 month. We travel from China to India. Correct? Yeah, within short, we traveled all across the globe without any visa. Nice, right? No passport, no visa, we traveled across the entire globe. So what is the next step? What we do next? One person from one case report is being available, then you can do shots on the case report. Result is that evidence that has been generated. You can do short, study, all that in the case report and then share it with all the individuals. Next is what? Case series. What is this case series? Now it is not only this guy with this case. There are children also getting affected with this problem, and the older people are dying within 2 days time. People with diabetes and all comorbidity or with cardiac problem getting mortality very early. That is what we are able to see within a short duration. Things are very quick. Even to think what to do, there is a huge incidence of COVID which has been happening. And then what happened? It traveled across the globe. 20% without any passport or visa travel the entire world. Okay, what is next? What is logically you want to think next? Well, what percent of the disease? It becomes 100. Then what is going to happen? What happened to COVID? What is next? Observation studies. What is observation? Why I should do observation? One person with COVID with under patient now. Case control. Okay, there are a lot of designs coming into picture. So you should ask the right question first. Then you can decide which study is suitable for it. Okay? The first thing is it only 100 people who are coming to my clinic have this problem? Or is there more people outside my clinic who also having this problem? You should ask that question, right? People who can afford will come to my clinic for treatment. Because everybody can afford treatment. Many of them thought it was a fever. I don't need to go to see a doctor. Let me stay at home and take some medication from pharmacy. Go to the pharmacy, collect some medication and take. That is what people thought, right? So what I should do? If I think only other people are there with the problem, is it right? No, right? I should go back to the community or a field to see, observe how many people are actually with this particular disease. Correct? Okay. Now you can do what? Observational studies. You are trying to observe how many people are actually with the problem in the community. It is not 100 people. There are thousands of people with the disease. Now what is next? What can we do? There are more people, every day there is case increasing. What I should do? What is next question? Non-incidence and all of that. Incidence is what we are able to find already. Every day the incidence is increasing. What I should do next? What is next? Survey. Okay, let's start a surveillance system. It is not just 100 people or 1000 people. There are more and more people are there. Let's start a database and identify all the cases. Why we have done that here? Especially in COVID. How does that during the COVID? How the COVID is spread? It is airborne disease. Even if you are next to the person of disease, even if you are very good, very healthy, very nice, you will likely to have a problem. So what government has said, don't come out from your house, stay within the room, you isolate yourself, right? They have not allowed people to move around, not allowed anybody to come out of the house. They are going to an extent, everything is set up. Everybody is not being during the time, right? Happy time. Yes? Okay? You can see that we are trying to figure out What is the cause? How it is spreading? Again, we are trying to absorb the information, right? Then WHO is telling us you should do something. What did they recommend? Social distancing one, quarantine, social distancing, same kind of isolation. Okay, anything else? Wear mask. Next, sanitize. Then, okay, they have given all this advice during that time, right? So how do they know that this things are going to work? Can I do a trial and see? Check whether people wearing mask, no wearing mask, put them in the. Can I do like that? Yes? Okay, let's do a study. Whether parachute is helping people to prevent dying. Take all of you in a plane. Couple of you wear parachute. Some of you don't wear a parachute. Can you jump from there? Can you do a study like that? Why? And whoever tests no parachute is actually helping you to survive. Can you do a study like that? Yes or no? Yes or no? No, why? It is unethical to do a study, especially do a trial. Okay? It is known that from observational data, there is something like parachute can at least save your life. Even if you have a broken leg or hand, at least your life will be saved. Can I do a trial with a helmet? One group of people wear helmet, other group don't wear helmet. And then do a trial to see helmet is preventing death. You don't need to do a study to test that. But you have data which is already in your hospitals tell you that these are the number of people come to the hospital with the road accident. These are people who are actually wear helmet during the accident. They were surviving. These are people who are dead because no helmet. So we know that wearing helmet is saving life. So many times when you have a serious problem like COVID, we don't really do a trial to see whether this one is working best. These are known fact that it is a airborne disease. Therefore, you have to wear a mask, or you at least go and isolate yourself. Therefore, you don't spread the disease to everyone. Correct? Okay. Now this is a prevention strategy, right? It is not a treatment. The strategy that they are used here for preventing the spread of disease. What is the next thing? Treatment. Treatment is where we need a clinical trial. We need a trial to show the benefit of a particular drug. That is where people have started performing clinical trial studies. Okay? That is where the randomized control trial comes into picture. Heard about randomized control trial? Yes? Okay. So you can see that randomized control trial are studies which can help in terms of understanding which medicine is going to help the patient. Okay, compared to other treatments. People have discovered that remdesivir is helpful. Now people have started treating. Okay. Now how will we tell this to the entire world? Can we do shots and put on social media? Then how can we just say that this drug is beneficial? Who should tell? Who was given us advice during COVID? Who? Government officials have given the advice to all of us. Who is the government official? Seriously. Let me doubt, I know. WHO. Now we have about who, WHO. What is WHO? World Health Organization. So what they have done during COVID? Tell me now. They have given a guidelines for all of us. Correct? Do you have any guidelines for your own practice? Yes? How did you create these guidelines? My sir told me to follow, I am following it. Yes? Society. Clinicaltrials.gov. Give us a guideline. How these guidelines are made? General knowledge. Regulatory authorities are giving these guidelines. Okay? Very good. But these guidelines are made from a secondary research. Okay? You can see that during COVID, only remedies were what? Does everybody got remedies? No. What update was told? People with low severe disease don't even have any treatment. Go and isolate yourself for how many days? 14 days. You will be alright. People with moderate, you can get the treatment done at home. Take this medicine and go home. People with severe, they all need oxygen. Therefore, you have to be admitted in a hospital bed. Do we have hospital bed for everybody? No. So we are trying to manage the condition with some guidelines. Correct? So how these guidelines are made? These are generated by looking at the evidence that are available. That is where systematic review comes into the picture. Okay, now you understand what is the use of systematic review. There are multiple options are available for particular treatment. How do we decide which treatment is going to be useful? It's not my job, it is a doctor's job. My job is to just find the adverse event. Why I should worry about it? Do you think like that? No. Because anybody can do research. It is not only doctors are trying to treat, therefore they can only do research. Okay? Research is anybody can do. Okay? If you are given a choice to travel from here to Bangalore, okay, by a car, what will you do? Do you know the route? How many of you know the route to Bangalore? Okay, those who don't know, what will you do? Google Maps. Okay, very good answer. Google Maps. All of you are using technology. Okay, what Google Maps is trying to do? What will you do in Google Maps? Go there and see. Ask Google Maps to train you to Bangalore. No, I can't do it. Okay. What I will do? A lot of answers are there. One person can answer. Raise your hand. Who wants to answer? Nobody wants to answer. Okay. So what Google is trying to do? Navigate. What it tries to do? You go there in the Google map and then put Bangalore there. And then what Google map tries to do? Follow the road straight. What is the word asked? Tell me correctly. Let's see who is very intelligent. Nobody is intelligent. Google is intelligent. He is not. He is intelligent. Give a big round of applause. Okay. Google is trying to ask you the correct location. Where are you currently? Tell me your location first. Then it is going to tell you what? It is going to give you a direction. What it gives the direction? Is there any information that you will get? distance that you have to travel. And then driving, how many hours that it will take to reach Bangalore. So you can see that it is also giving you numbers along with it. Correct? If it is just telling you that go to this road, make a turn, go, what is that? Is it enough for you? Maybe it's good to go. That is how we have been, right? When Google Map was not there, what we have done? Let's go to Anantapur, ask an auto driver the route. He will say, go to the straight road, you will find driver. There is a board on the road, it is in blue color, you have to notice that. So he will guide you like that, right? But he will not tell you, there is a 3 kilometers, you will reach in 10 minutes, you won't see all of it, right? If you take this auto, what you will do? You will not go straight, you will rotate to the other side. Take 2 hours to reach the right? Correct. That is the problem. You can see that any information that you try to collect, if it is just the qualitative information, you cannot trust it. You cannot go and say, oh, remediation is working fine. If I just say that, nobody is going to believe me. I should also collect what is the benefit, how much is the benefit that we can get with this drug. That is the number that we need to calculate. Only if you calculate numbers, then you can trust it. Okay? So you can see that the process that we are trying to do here is by taking information from all the studies is called systematic review. But when you get the number like how much is the kilometer, how much is the time, is where meta-analysis. The statistical analysis that you do is called meta-analysis. Okay? So now you can see that there is a methodology called systematic review and there is something called statistical analysis or meta-analysis. Okay? Remember the story of Google? Okay, perfect. Now I want to buy a mobile phone. What mobile phone that I should buy? What is your recommendation? How many of you recommend iPhone? Okay, 1%. How many of you recommend Samsung? Okay, few of this. How many of you recommend OnePlus? Few of you. Any other brand? Redmi Pro. Vivo, how many of you recommend Vivo? How many of you recommend Redmi? Okay, how many of you will recommend YouTube reviews? Do you use YouTube reviews for checking the phone before you buy? Why are you doing that? I go to. But if you go and search for YouTube for one particular device, how many reviews are you going to get? People who want the phone, people who don't want the phone also will do a review. Correct? Then how can I trust? Whose review that I should believe? The same person will say one phone is best and then say Samsung is also best. Then what you should do? The medicine is great. iPhone is great. Can everybody afford iPhone? No, that's not possible. But what is the use of phone? I just want to speak to somebody and communicate. I am happy with even an analog phone. But it becomes smart. I have to live in a smart life. Okay? So you can see that similarly in medicine, there are a lot of medications are there. Okay? And then you can decide which one you can afford it. That is how the treatment strategies are built. Understood? So for that we need to have a review to know that these are possible medicines that can help, but these are medicines which is very expensive, which we cannot afford. Okay, only if you study everything together, then you can come to a conclusion. Think about that, you are playing a detective role. What is the job of a detective? Let's say there is a crime happened in the Anandapur, main circle. You are a police investigator. What will you do? You will go there and just do what? You will try to gather some evidence in the spot, what has happened, and then the person who has done the crime will be there and tell you all of that. No. Who is going to tell you all of that? There are people around there might tell, otherwise what they will do? Again, technology is there. Let's look at CCTV around to see who is the person and what has exactly happened. Correct? So if I just believe only one CCTV or just there is no CCTV available, there are 10 people are there next to the event. Do all the 10 people say the same thing? Will all the same, oh sir, I have seen there is a car here. Everybody will tell the same exact. If everybody says the same thing, what will you think? Something is wrong. Everybody is telling the same thing. Correct? So remember, it is not just looking at only few people and making a decision. You have to analyze the data and try to come up with the final conclusion. So systematic review is trying to find all the available information, not just believing what you are able to find. Okay? Right. So now, since you heard all this story here, so you can divide this research into two different aspects. One is the primary study. What is primary study? Where I collect from each patient and then analyze the information and publish. That becomes a primary studies. There is a secondary study. What is secondary study? Where I don't collect from patients. I will collect from published research. So if I collect information from a published information, that is called secondary research. Okay? Systematic review is a primary research or secondary research? Secondary research, because it is taking information from a published data, not from each individual patient. Now you understand the context? Okay. Now, how many of you have seen a research article? Some of you raise your hand, some of you not raised. Where will you find them? Again, Google. Everything Google. PubMed. ResearchGate. Nobody has upgraded on GPT. Yeah? How many of you use GPT? You are living in a very old age. You have to adapt to the technology. You know all the technology, but you are not adapting. How many of you have GPT? All of you. Now you are in. What is the use? What are you doing with GPT? How do you use GPT? Tell me that. Copy paste. How many of you do copy paste? None of you do copy paste. So straight away store everything in the brain. Transfer all the information into the brain and deliver. Okay. Okay, you can try to learn bad things initially, then try to figure out what is good and bad. That is how learning happens. When you initially start, everything is boring. Over the time, you will find a way to become better, right? To use it properly. Okay, that's fine. So, what is the structure of a research article? Can you tell me? What is the structure of a research article? Abstract. First, say the abstract. Title. Okay, title will be there. Next. Author information. Next. Affiliation. Okay, very detailed to each item. Okay, affiliation. Don't say that Raghavendra Institute of You know what is affiliation means. Okay. Next. Volumes and issues. Okay, next. Take background. Abstract will be there in the beginning. Okay, after abstract, don't say keywords. Okay, next. Background or introduction section of an article. Okay, introduction next. Objective next. Methodology next. Results. Okay, results. Discussion. Conclusion. How many have you seen this order? Okay, if you have not seen this order, if you have got your mobile, just take your mobile. Do you allow to use mobile? Okay, can you open the mobile and go to PubMed and then tell me among all of this, which is an important section? Can you just find out and tell me? Which is the important section? Discussion. How many of you vote for discussion? Okay. At least people in the back can hear me. Good. Okay. How many of you vote for introduction? No introduction, you can do a study. Nobody is voting for introduction. Okay. Next is what? Objective? Okay, keep objective. How many of you vote for objective? Don't vote for everything at the back. For everything you are raising hand. Okay. Next is methodology. How many of you vote for methodology? Only 1%, 2%. Okay. 4. Okay. Results. Results. Okay. Only 2 or 3. Okay. Why do you think discussion is very, very important? Okay, the idea of discussion is I am talking to similar studies and see what they have done. If I have to do a discussion, what I should have? What I should have? I have to have results first. Only if I have results, then I can do the discussion. Therefore, results takes the advantage, not the discussion. Okay. Discussion results is important. Results. When the results will come? After discussion. After statistical analysis. Okay. For statistical analysis, what will you, before statistical analysis, what is going to be there? So the first and important thing is the methodology of your study. Okay. Depends on the method that you employ, you will collect data. With the given data, you will have results. With the results, you will go for discussion. Again, the reason is not because the sequence, which means title should be the first priority. But that is not correct. There is another answer for it. What does that tell me? Don't say objective. There is another reason method is important. Why method is important? Why methodology is important? There is another reason. Yeah, objective, based on objective, you design the study. Therefore, objective is important, no? Objective is depends on a title. Research question, therefore research question is important. Research question is comes from my guide, therefore my guide is important. You cannot do that. That is not science. What is important? Tell me. Everything is important. Life cannot be everything is important. There should be some priorities. Tell me. Okay, I'll give you the answer. Reproducibility. Why methodology is more important is, if somebody says the medicine is working,
If I redo the study again, what I should get? I should get the same result. That is why methodology is very important. If you are saying that the drug is going to be helpful, you have followed this, okay, you put this concentration of this combination, therefore I got the result like this. If you go and put the same combination, what you should get? The same result. Then you can believe that the study is given a right result. So that is why the reproducibility methodology is very, very important than question, title and or guide and all of that. Okay? Understood? Right. So if anybody got the methodology, if everybody knows how to travel to the city, the route, everybody can reach there, right? If you wanted to go to a main circle, if everybody has got a mobile Google map, the methodology is Google map. Everybody can go to that particular location, right? So if you don't have a Google map, everybody will in a different way. So therefore methodology is very, very important. That is why systematic reviews can be done by anybody. It need not be an expert or a student. Anybody who writes the article will have the same set of information. Understood now? Okay. Now you can see that a systematic review is a investigation or a person who is putting a role of a policeman. He is doing a systematic review. So he is going to find all the evidence, collect, analyze the information and then come up with the results. The analysis that he is going to do is called what? Meta-analysis. Understood? The statistical analysis that he is going to do with the data that he is collected from each study is a meta-analysis. Okay? Right. Now you understood the context, right? Do you guys need a break? Yes? Okay. Let's take a 5 minutes break and then we'll come back. Or you want a 10 minutes break? All the time is good, huh? Okay. So 10 minutes break. Please assemble back after that. Expertise in systematic review. The salary is 40,000 rupees. If you know how to write a systematic review. Okay? And if you go to industry, there are people who write systematic reviews of medical writing. They say medical writing. So you will get well paid. Okay? Remember that. There are a lot of avenues of learning systematic reviews. Now, we'll go to the actual definition of systematic review. What we will see here today is giving you an overview of what is systematic review and meta-analysis and the steps involved in doing systematic review. That is the most important aspect. And followed by finally making your interpretation. So these are the kind of data that we will try to do in terms of analyzing. Okay? Now, we talked about evidence-based medicine because you see that whatever we are trying to do, if you go and say nobody is believing you, therefore we wanted to generate the evidence. Okay, there are various levels of evidence that people try to generate. Looking at this particular diagram, you can notice at the bottom the case study, case report that we discussed, right? Where it is in the levels of evidence. It is at the leads level. Why? Because it is 1 person or 10 person or 100 patient or something like that. Okay? That might change from one place to other place. If you do a prevalence of COVID in India and prevalence in UK, was it same? Why? Our population is very huge compared to other countries. Therefore, you never have a same result. So therefore, what you see here may not be applicable to UK. Okay? There is a lot of difference. Therefore,
the studies that you are trying to include in the lowest level may not give you a correct answer. But if you go up the ladder, you can find that randomized controlled trial. Randomized controlled trial are design which has been done in a specific setting. That is why it is not a good quality evidence. The methodologies are very robust. Let's say, for example, I am planning to create a diet program. Okay, I wanted to help people who are obese to reduce their weight. I call that as a Richard's diet program. I am going to market it. If I tell you to buy it, what I should do? You help me to sell this now. I have discovered a diet program that can help reduce weight. I am coming and telling you, oh, this is a nice program that I have done. Please buy it. Will you buy it? No, then what I should do? We need evidence? Okay, what kind of evidence that you want? What kind of evidence that you want to believe? It has to be a randomized controlled trial. Can you show me a trial to tell me whether there is evidence that your diet program is reducing? Okay, now you have told me that you need this. I went back to my team and told them that hey, something like randomized controlled trial is there. Can you do one and give me the result? Those fellows, what they have done, they went and read something about randomized controlled trial and then they have started collecting data. One group, they have given my diet, Richard's diet. Another group, they have given some salt diet or something, or keto diet, whatever you know, keto diet and all of the diet, right? So stick to one diet program, keto diet. What I have done, I have taken all the IT people in my diet program. No, I take all the IT people in the keto diet program. All the individuals who are daily walking and catching bus into my diet program. What is going to happen? What will be the result? What is the nature of people who are working in IT? Go there, go in a car, eat, sit, come back in a car, sleep, and then get up, go to work. Their job is to just sit, no exercise at all. Correct? But my group, what I have done? I have taken people who can walk every day and then try to do very difficult work. What is going to happen to my result? Automatically, even if they don't take my diet program, they will have some reduction in weight. So, what I am trying to do here, I am trying to create a study to show there is a benefit with my diet, but in fact my diet is not helping them. So walking and daily activities helping them to reduce their weight. So you can see that I am introducing a bias in the methodology, trying to create a fake result. Okay? That is where the problem is. Therefore you can see that just by looking at randomized control trial cannot be trusted. We should analyze the RCT and see whether it is done properly, whether the methodology is correct. Okay? Let's say for example you have been given to write an exam. You have not studied. What will you do? You are in the exam room now. Will you just leave everything and then come back? Sir, I did not study, just leave the paper blank. How many of you will do that? Nobody will do it. We'll write some stories. Let's see, whatever it comes, that's okay, no? That is something you know. Right? Is it correct? The sir is also bound this poor fellow will fail, stay here. Let's give some mark, pass it. Okay? So that is a bias. Right? Now you can see that the levels of evidence, you have to go to a systematic review where you synthesize all the information, then you make a decision. Coming
evidence from these group of studies may not really give you the right result. Okay, that is why systematic review is very, very important. Now, what is systematic review? All the scientific strategies that you apply to limit bias, and then what is happening? Systematically assemble the studies. You notice there are three keywords here in this definition. First one is systematically assemble the studies. Second is critical appraisal. Don't believe whatever is published or good study. Research means it is our call, everything is good. Okay, you should analyze that information properly. Third point is what? You should synthesize this information, all relevant studies, which is a meta-analysis. Okay? It has to be scientifically correct, that limit bias, not like taking IT people in one group and non-IT people in another group. That is not the right. Okay? Bias is what? Bias is trying to fake the information. For example, my uncle is working as a manager, HR manager in a company. I go there for an interview. There are 100 people will be there. Who will get selected? Talented people get selected. Probably I would have spoken to him earlier. The job is for me. They are just simply coming and waiting there. Is it correct? No, but that is not happening in reality, right? You cannot stop it. But we can try to minimize that. We cannot completely remove the bias. But we can try to say, okay, how I can just prevent this? How I can introduce or limit bias in this situation? My uncle is there in the company, I am going for an interview. I already spoke to him, they discussed the role, these are the questions. I will ask him. How should I just put a limit bias? What I should do? There are two options that you have. One, either my uncle should not be in the panel. When I am going for the interview, you should be out from the room. That reduces bias, right? Second one is what I can do. Otherwise, they can have a screening exam. Those who score above this mark, you can go to the next level. If you are capable to write the exam and clear, then you can go to the next interview. So you can see there is a bias is there, but I can try and put some methodology to reduce that bias. Okay? Here, any scientific design that we try to do, there will be some sort of a bias will be there. We should find right methodology to reduce that bias. Okay? Understood? Right. Remember, not all the reviews will perform meta-analysis. Only when there are studies available, you can conduct a data analysis. If you have only one study, it is still called a systematic review but no meta-analysis. Okay? Remember that. Then what is meta-analysis? Can you just tell me this slide? Yeah, what is meta-analysis? It is a statistical analysis which is going to combine the results from multiple studies. So, move forward. Several independent studies to combine the results is called meta-analysis. Next slide. Okay, if you look at in practice, what people have done initially is, people have just called all the studies as meta-analysis. For example, I have collected 10 studies from PubMed. Just do a statistical analysis and call it as meta-analysis and publish it. Is it correct? Why it is not correct? They have not done search in all the different databases. They only searched in one place and then simply published that paper. But what people have thought? People have started making a lot of mistakes. Therefore, you have to follow a process which is called systematic review, and the analysis which has been done there is called meta-analysis. Okay? Remember that. So traditionally review articles are written by experts.
Expert meaning these are people who are sitting in a high position, journal editor or somebody an expert in the field who has been paid to write review articles. Will you given a chance to write a review article? No. In the journal nobody gives an article. Only the senior most people will get a option to write review articles. And it has to be an expert in the field. Next, they will have access only to the midline, which is a PubMed. What they will do, if somebody is going to fund this review, a pharmaceutical company is writing an email to you saying that, hey, listen, there is a new issue going to come in your journal and we will fund you to this particular conference. The entire family can travel to London for this conference. Now what I should do if I write an article? Novartis is paying me for this conference. If I say that Novartis drug is bad, they will cancel my trip. So I should say something good about Novartis. It's a great drug, this drug is going to help, all nice stories. Right? So I am biasing myself. Conflict of interest. That is called conflict of interest. I have already planned to say he is a good candidate for this particular job. Therefore, I am just making the entire people who are coming for the job. Okay, that is how the story happens. Okay. Next, and it is mostly done with the number of trials against the number of favorable results against unfavorable results. For example, if there are 10 studies that they found, 6 studies are saying paracetamol is good drug, 4 studies are saying paracetamol is bad. What should I do now? Should I say paracetamol is good because 6 studies have proven it is good? No. I am going to compare 4 versus 6. 4 is better or 6 is better? 6 is better, therefore paracetamol is good. Can I make a decision like that? The 6th study where the sample size is only 10, 10, 10. Whereas the 4th study, the sample size is 500, 500, 500. Which one will you believe? 6th study with 60 sample or 4th study with 2000 sample? Which one is better now? 4th study is better, huh? Change your decision now. You all been biased. Right? So that is where meta-analysis comes into the picture. The more the information, it gets more weightage. The less the sample size, get less weightage. Okay? Therefore, it is taken care of in meta-analysis. Not saying that 6 study favors, 4 studies not favors. That doesn't work. Okay? Next. And it is completely driven by his own subjective decision, what he wants to say. If somebody wants to reproduce it, nobody will know how he has derived that conclusion because it is very, very subjective, no methodology. Okay, next slide. Very influential. So this gives you a picture of how a narrative article is written. People generally write narrative articles just on their own, no methodology section. Nobody knows how it has been arrived at this conclusion. But systematic review can be done by anybody. You will be able to get the same result. And what we do in narrative review is more of searching in databases that we have access to. Go to PubMed, get information. Go to Google, get information. But in systematic review, we should pre-plan where all we are going to search. Okay? Let's say for example that somebody lost a gold ring in this classroom. Where will you find? Can I go out and search in the T area? No. Where will you find them? You have to come here and search, right? You should go to the right location where it has been lost. At least you will be able to see something is present or absent. If you don't know the location, you will not find that ornament. So similarly, you will have to search in the right place to find the right set of studies. Otherwise, you will never find any data. And we cannot include all different study designs. Okay? You can see that RCT is there,
cohort study is there, case control study is there, cross-sectional study is there, case series, case report, there are various types of studies are there. We cannot take everything. In the example of helmet is working or saving life, what type of study is useful? We have seen the parachute example, right? Can I do a randomized control trial? No, what I should use there? Observational study. Okay? I have given the example, right? How many road accidents happened? How many people were wearing helmet? They are able to survey. Okay? From the medical records, you are able to find observational data to tell us whether helmet actually helps people saving life. So you can include observational studies. Okay? You cannot find any RCT. Right? So you have to decide which type of study that is suitable for your analysis. And then we cannot use the p-value, which is basically telling you good result, bad result. No, that doesn't work in a systematic review. And narrative reviews are more subjective and descriptive. You do not know what they have done, what you are going to find there. Whereas here, it is more important that there is a meta-analysis which gives you a data that tells you whether, and you can see in the last, there is 2% independently doing the every step. Why 2 people independently doing it? Let's say there are 5 articles that I included for this review. One of the article is my friend's article. I don't like it. I just removed that study, kept quietly. Is it correct or wrong? Is it correct or wrong? Wrong. What is that called? What is that called? Bias. I am biasing that. I don't like this friend. I am going to remove that study. Okay? But what if there is another person who is being screening that? What he will do? There are 2 people doing the screening. First person, I don't like him, I just deleted it. The second person who is screening, he will say that no, you cannot delete this study. That study is also supposed to be there. It doesn't mean that you don't like the author, you cannot exclude a study. So that is why you have 2 people independently trying to identify the study and include the studies in your meta-analysis. Okay? So here you can see that it is more of traditional approach which is lagged behind time. So just to give an example of, look at this. How many trials are there? 33 trials. From which year to which year? Okay. How many participants were there in this? Okay. Now you can see that they have included these many people to measure what? Streptokinase can help people with acute MI. Correct? Can we give streptokinase or not? That is the question that we are trying to see here. So look at this. On this side, what you see is called as each studies. One study, the result is given here. The second study result is given here. So similarly, there are 33 studies here which gives you the data. Okay, at the bottom you can see this side tells favors treatment. This side tells favors control. That means no streptokinase. You can see this one dot at the bottom. That is your combined result. What does the combined result tells you at the bottom? Which side it is? Treatment side or control side? This side is treatment, this side is control. Where is the dot? It is treatment side. So you can see that when you conduct any analysis, it tells that the treatment is going to be beneficial compared to no treatment. Which means that you should start giving streptokinase. They have found this during 1988. But this side is a cumulative meta-analysis. What is cumulative meta-analysis? You can see whenever there is a new study comes, the result is updated by combining these 2 study results here, the 3 study results here, 4 study results here. Now if you notice here during this time point, the entire diamond and line is telling you what? Favors treatment. Correct? And then you can see here, there are around 14,000 or 80,000 participants randomized. You can see that 8,000 people did not receive streptokinase, 8,000 people received streptokinase. But in fact, what has happened is, during this time point onwards, you can see that the study results are consistently telling that the treatment is working. But what people have done? During 1970, there are no meta-analysis available. People will keep on doing trial and trial and trial without knowing that the treatment is actually working. Okay, that is a danger. If you don't perform any meta-analysis, you cannot continue to do trial again and again and again. And in fact, here you can see there is almost like 17,000 participants they have randomized, which means that there are 8,000 plus participants could have got a good treatment, they would have survived, but they have not got that option because they are in a trial, they have been receiving a wrong treatment. Okay, so if you do any studies like this when there is a proven benefit, you cannot simply do a study. If I know paracetamol is going to be helpful, can I take placebo? Can you do a placebo trial? Why can't you do it? When can you do a placebo trial? Only when there is a new drug, you can perform a placebo controlled trial. When there is an established treatment, if you go to a doctor, the doctor will say, take a placebo and come back. He never does that. He is going to give you what is the actual treatment. So always the standard of care will be the comparison group when you try to perform a clinical trial. So that is the importance of meta-analysis. When you have, there is a real evidence, you cannot simply conduct trial and trial. Okay? If you know that this treatment is working, then you should stop doing study. So what people have done, they have given an editorial saying that you cannot simply publish any trial. If you want to publish a trial, you should give a reference from the background from a systematic review. Okay, get a reference from a systematic review to justify there is a need for a randomized controlled trial. Or you should do one and then show that there is a relationship that the need for a systematic review. Otherwise, otherwise you cannot publish it in a journal. Don't think that you can just simply take some topic and do a trial. No, that is not permitted. Okay? Right. So when meta-analysis can mislead, when you are not done within the systematic review. Because you did not find all the studies, you just found only 2 studies, just do an analysis, that is not going to give you the right result. Okay? When you include all poor quality studies, like I have done a study, you ask for evidence for whether the diet program is going to help. If I come and show you the study, oh, I have done a study, this is my benefit. Will you accept it? Why can't you accept it? I have done a clinical trial. One group, all healthy people, all walking people in my treatment group, all IT people on the control arm. Will you accept the result? No. It's a poor quality study. Though it is a randomized controlled trial, I have did lot of bias in the study. These are going to give you a wrong result. Okay? When you have not paid attention to heterogeneity, this we will talk about in a meta-analysis. Okay? What you should look, what are the methods of doing systematic review? First, you have to have a clear question. Make a note of this. This is a very important slide. Or if you want to take a photo of it, you can just take a photo of it. The first thing that we want to know is clearly defined research question. Okay, what is the format of asking a research question? Have you come across a term called PICO? Yes? What does P stands for? Patient or population or participants or all same problem. Okay, what is the problem that you are trying to address? I stands for information, innovation, intervention. What is the intervention that we are trying to give? C stands for comparison. And then O stands for outcome. Okay? PICO is a format the question should be generated. That's the first step. Next step is you should use the PICO to find studies. Where all will you find studies? Just go to PubMed and stop searching? No, there are multiple databases that you should study. Cochrane Library, Google Scholar, Embase, PubMed, Web of Science. Any other database? Scopus, clinicaltrial.gov. Wherever possible data that you can get, including thesis. The thesis which is done and sitting in the universities, that is also will be part of your search. So you should try to search as maximum resources as possible. And then it has to be reproducible. Remember that the methodology is very, very important. You should A priority set your inclusion and exclusion criteria. Which are the studies will be included in your systematic review. Why? Because you will find randomized control trial, you will also find observational study. You have to stick to one particular design. If it is a RCT, you should only include randomized control trial in your review. If you select only cohort study, you should choose only cohort study. Okay? Otherwise, you will have huge number of studies. You do not know what to do with them. That is why inclusion criteria is very, very important in your methodology. And then don't believe all the studies are great. Therefore, you assess the quality of each included studies. That is called risk of bias assessment. Okay? Each study needs to be assessed for its bias. There are tools available to identify these biases. And then reproducible data extraction. The data that you are going to collect from each study, you should have a form. You all have this case report form for your area reporting, right? Similarly, you create a form to collect all the data from each studies. Okay? And then analyze the data properly with the meta-analysis, including the heterogeneity and all of it. And then look at the discussion section, trying to see what is the benefit and findings that you have got. And interpret the results with support of data. Whatever you are saying, there should be evidence in the data to tell that there is a benefit with this particular intervention. Okay? And also need to talk about what is the use. There is evidence, what can it help patient, or what is going to be the future research, how it can help. So you have to discuss that in the. Okay. Additional feature is no language restriction. Especially, if we go to search in PubMed, we will only see English studies. If you find Chinese studies, you might exclude it. But if you are excluding, you should state in the limitation of the systematic review. Don't say, okay, I will not state it, let's leave it. No. You should state that in your limitation that we did not include other languages in this systematic review. Therefore, you are transparent in the reporting, not just hiding some information. This is a very important aspect. Every step, 2% independently trying to do all the actions. Searching, screening, identifying, including, extracting data, and then finally 1% can analyze. Okay? So in the beginning, question is created, finding studies, 2% searching, 2% screening the studies, 2% extracting the data, and then finally analyzing the data. Okay? Okay, first step, asking the answerable questions. Step number 1. PICO format you all know, right? So this is what the explanation from PICO. There are some more points that we add here, which is called study design. Okay, study design is very, very important in the context of systematic review. Only because of the study design, then you will be able to give the proper findings. If you don't have a study design as an inclusion criteria, then you will not be able to get a right conclusion. Okay? And one more important point, outcomes and endpoints. I'm going to do the study of Richard's diet, right? What is the outcome of interest? Weight reduction. When I should measure weight? After eating food, go and measure weight? Is it the right methodology? No. Then, when I should measure weight? First thing in the morning, every day you document the weight. How much money that I should invest? Everybody I have to buy a machine and give it. Pre and post? Diet, okay. Pre and post meaning when? Before starting the diet, okay. Take the assessment at the baseline. Make a measurement at the baseline. Everybody who is attending the clinic, I will measure the weight when they come to the clinic by default. The baseline is done. Next. Once they reduce, you come, I will just measure. Standardize when? I should say after 3 months, in this place you should come. So I should define this a priori clearly that I will measure the weight after 3 months of diet program. If I am coming today, I will be given a date to come after 3 months to the clinic time. Then I will document the weight. Okay? For every individual, 3 months will be the measurement. So here you have to specify when you are measuring outcome or endpoint, what is the time point that you are trying to measure? Okay? Not after looking at 3 months, it's not reducing. You go back and come at 6 months. It comes 6 months there is a reduction. Let me take that data. No. You cannot just simply take as you wish. You have to plan and then collect the data accordingly. Otherwise it becomes a bias. Okay? So remember, what we talked, patient problem and all of that, here a little more detail. You can see that patient disease or condition, what is the stage of the disease, what is the severity, what is the demographic characteristics, whether it's a pediatric or geriatric, who we are talking about. Intervention, it is not just only the drug name. What is the dosage, what is the duration, what is the route that has been given, all this have to be defined clearly. Okay, what is the comparison? What is the outcome? Whether it is being measured, whether it is measured baseline and endpoint, whether it is measured at 3 months, 6 months, and if there is a tool which is used for measuring, whether the tool is valid or not. Let's say I am interested in measuring quality of life. Can I develop my own quality of life and then measure it? No. I have to use something which is already validated. Correct? And if it is going to be higher the score is better, lower the score is worse, the direction of the scale, all that you have to document. So it is not just saying that pico, no. We have to be very clear and detailed to an extent that the data should not be collected again. So you have all the information in hand in your data collection form. Okay, that is the idea of systematic review. Every step is systematic. Okay, and plus study design. These are different study designs which can allow you in terms of finding the right answer. Okay. Right. Look at this question. Is zinc effective in treating cold? Is it a right? That is an idea that I have. Can I give zinc for cold? But that idea needs to be converted into a research question. So you can see here how it has been converted with the PICO format. You can notice that the population of interest is in children with common cold. So cold is a condition, children is the population of interest, age group. Okay, next I is what? Zinc, what type of zinc? Oral zinc compared to placebo. And what I am trying to measure? Symptoms. You can see compared to placebo. You have seen the PICO element is present in the question that you are asking. You might have an idea, your idea needs to be converted into a FICO format, search question. Okay? Then you put a design. Which one is the right study design here? RCD is the right study design because we are trying to see which one is better. When you want to compare between two things, it has to be a randomized controlled trial. Okay? Understood? Any questions? Case control? Okay, how is the case control? You can also compare case control two groups. What is the problem there? Who is the case, who is the control? The case control is an observational study. Okay? Here we are talking about evaluating a drug. Therefore, it has to be a prospective study. Case control is a retrospective study. Okay? Next step is what? Step number 2. Take this FICO, go to the database. So what we essentially trying to do is, we are trying to search for information. So you can see here, this is the population. What will go here? What are the keywords that I use here? Population. For this question. Children, common cold. These are two. Just use children and common cold enough. What I should do? Help me to find studies. Is children are called only children? Pediatric is one other name. Then infant, okay. Neonates. You can see that just to serve children alone is not sufficient. So you should find all different combination synonym terms. Okay? Then you can combine the population together. How will you combine all the synonym terms together? What is the Boolean operator? OR. There are three Boolean operators, OR and NOT. So when you are trying to increase your information, you will use OR. So therefore, children or neonate or infant or pediatric. These all will form one. And then next one. Common cold, fever, traditional term. Cold, then flu, what else? Cough. All these are or. This is another entity. Then you should combine these two together using which operator? AND operator. Therefore, the patient search is done now. Just to search patient or population, you need to have two different combinations here. Next is what? Intervention. Zinc. Is it just only zinc? Oral zinc, whatever combinations are there. And comparator, it has to be a placebo comparison. So you will use and placebo as a combination, or you can put everything in the or. Zinc or placebo or all of this is the intervention group. Third group is duration of symptoms. I cannot define symptoms directly, therefore I will not do a search there, and then I try to see a combination of all these two together. That is the output that I should get. So one patient and two common cold and three will be oral zinc, placebo and all of that. So when I combine all this using AND, that is the result that I am interested in. But I am not interested in all the studies, but I am interested in what? Only randomized controlled trial. Then I will filter for randomized controlled trial alone. Okay, that will be my data that I will take for screening. Understood now? Correct? Okay. Now that you know this, I wanted you to just go to PubMed, at least see what operator, and then use this example. Just do quick 10 minutes, open up your mobile or if you have your laptop, do this exercise of searching in PubMed. Go to PubMed. If you have your mobile, go to PubMed. Go to advanced search. Go to PubMed. Go to PubMed. Go to advanced search. Advanced search. Okay. First you can type zinc, oral zinc. And there is a boolean operator which says and. Select and then you can say children. And see how many results that you are able to get in PubMed. Just simple keyword. Oral zinc and children. You can develop the search strategy later on. Just see how many studies that you are able to get. Oral zinc and children. 1398. Is everybody getting the same result? 1398?
Yes, sir.
Why are you getting the same result? Because you followed the same method. So if you two person doing the same thing, you should get the same result. If somebody getting a wrong result, which means that you have done some mistake. Okay? Can you apply a filter for randomized control trial? There is a filter available in PubMed to find only randomized control trial. Let's see how many of you are technology saving. Let's see whether you are able to figure out. 226. Okay, let's see how many of you are at the back able to get 226. Are you able to get 226?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see this is a simple search strategy with using only two keywords. But we have to expand them. The boolean operator that we have used here is and, not or. So when we want to use or, when you want to expand the children, now children or pediatric or neonates or infants. Can you see what is the result? Only or. Children, infant, neonates, pediatric, 4 terms. Some 89,000 or 8 lakhs, something like that, it comes, very large number. We may not be able to read all of them. Next entity, oral zinc or placebo. Can you go back to the advanced search and search for oral zinc or placebo? Sorry, oral zinc and the placebo. Or means it is going to come lot of studies. Oral zinc and placebo. Oral zinc and placebo. 280, 281. That's okay, something happens. So here, now combine this number 1 and number 2 search. If you go to the advanced search, you will find that number which is created below, history. We are able to find the history on the each page, advanced search page, history. So you will find there is a number as 1, as 2 like that in the history of the search. Yes, you can use the number for combining it. Number as 1 and as 3. Then you will get the results of combined result. Can you do that? Okay, I will give you 3 minutes time. Let's see how many of you are able to do it correctly. Little complex, right? You have to learn the complexity. I will show you now after 5 minutes. Let's see how many of you are able to get that. 86? 80, okay, 80. Don't don't believe them, they are correct. You check yourself whether you are able to get the same result. Okay, how many of you have got this result? Huh? Oh, I don't know. Let's see.
చిన్న మనిషి అనుకున్నా
What is the result that you got? How many of you able to get this? Where did we make a mistake? Okay, look at this first one. I have just wrongly put iron instead of zinc. So I search for children neonate, pediatric infant, number 1. So I get huge number of studies here. Okay, but I mistakenly put oral iron instead of zinc. Then I got the results where I want to compare. Then I made a mistake here. So I went back and then put oral zinc and placebo 482. Then I tried to combine 1 is this and 4 is the latest one. I got around 165. How many of you are able to get this? You are not getting it? If you are not getting, sometimes there is a mistake. What is the mistake? You filter RCT and then get 200. Okay, let's apply the filter of randomized control trial. Then you should get 80. Okay, let's see how many of you are correct. Filter for randomized control trial. 102. How many of you got 102? Can you repeat? Can you repeat the same thing what I have done here and see whether you are able to get the same result? This is very, very important because if you make mistake here, the entire step of doing systematic review is gone. So this is a very, very important step in conducting systematic review. If you learn the skill of searching studies, the first qualification that you are passed. Can you just do this exercise in your mobile and see whether you are able to get 102 studies after applying filter. Even if you don't apply a filter, just see whether you are getting 165 studies without filter. Can you do that? Only if you do and show evidence, then you can go for lunch. Otherwise, no lunch. You can come in the front. I think in the last you are not able to see the screen. If you want, you can come forward and then do this exercise. People who are sitting in the back, if you're not able to see, you can come in the front. Complete this task. Those who are not able to get the same result, please ask help from others. Those who are able to get, you will make a mistake, they can help you to correct it.
Okay, how many of you got the right answer? Okay, if you have got the right answer, please go back and help all your friends and the juniors. Please help them to have lunch box. Now about getting the right answer. Only if you can show the screen, you are allowed to go out of this room for lunch. Please help others to complete that task.
got 102 can go for lunch now and then be back by 1:30. Those who will not get, please stay here. Please. And I want to see the evidence. Those who are going for lunch.
Join for the lunch, the open